Welcome, people of the weird and wide world. I shall be your director today. I will represent myself as a dog. I will be narrating everything and stuff like that. This movie is based off of The Blood of Olympus, which is a really cool book, and I recommend you should read it. I gave it a 9 out of 10. The 9 because it has an extreme cliffhanger. And, yeah. Contributors to this animation movie were Floggerton Voss, which is me, and Ben Weinstock for building some things that were quite useful, and, well, that is it, actually. I did 99% of the work. Ben did close to 0% of the work. The rest of the percentage was done by the computer program. Yes. So, without further ado, we will make some short announcements, and we will allow the movie to begin. Normally. Yes. And, about this time, I will also tell you there are short, advertisements from our sponsors who don't actually sponsor us. They just made me happy and allowed me to keep going when I was making the movie. This may seem like a very amateur animation, but it took so much work, and just deal with it. Okay? I'm a dog. I am a dog.
Because I am cruel, we shall skip stuffs and you will be forced to actually read the book.
So sit back and enjoy the show.
So, Jason was sitting behind a bush, and he was looking at the Gowls, the undead zombies that were drinking red wine and doing really, really, really weird stuff. And then he saw zombies, so statues of Zeus, which was Jason's dad, into piles of dirt, and then the statues disintegrated. Of course that was the power of Gaia, but, you know, he felt really sad. He felt like killing them. So he got up, slowly but steadily. Then he ran at the speed of the wind and sky, and he flew into there. This is just a little preview of what the Gowls and them look like, and this is where they were eating stuff. You know, that's just how they look like. That's what the Gowls look like, and that's what the red wine looked like. You know, normal. Completely normal for Gowl type culture. Again, same thing. I'm guessing that's Antonius, one of the Suitors' leaders. If I remember right, it was Odysseus who shot him through the neck with that arrow. You'd think that would keep a guy down. What about all the others? Why are there so many? I don't know. Newer recruits for Gaia, I guess. Some must have come back before the close of doors of death. Some are just spirits. Some are Gowls. The ones with the gaping wounds and the gray skin. Like Antonia's. I've thought their kind before. Fantastic. I don't see any option but to stick to the plan. Split up, infiltrate, find out why they're here. If things go bad, we use a backup plan. Before they left the ship, Leo was given each of them an emergency flare the size of a birthday candle Supposedly, if they tossed one in the air, it would shoot upward in a streak of white phosphorus, alerting the Argo 2 that the team was in trouble. At that point, Jason and the girls would have a few seconds to take cover before the ship's catapults fired on their position, engulfing the palace in Greek fire and bursts of celestial bronze sharpener. Not the safest plan. Well, guess what? If you ever get hurt, you can always blow up a mountain. Then Piper, with her magic powers, turned Jason into Iros, the old beggar. Yeah, stuff. Iros, is that you old beggar? Yeah, that's me. Should I kill him, Antonius? I'm in a good mood today. Come on, Iros, join me at my table. I didn't expect to see you here, Iros, but I suppose even a beggar can sue for retribution. Drink, eat. Thick red liquid sloshed in the goblet. On the plate sat a steaming brown lump of mystery meat. Jason's stomach rebelled. Even if Galafood didn't kill him, his vegetarian girlfriend probably wouldn't kiss him for a month. He recalled but noticed a southwind had told him, "A wind that blows aimlessly is no good to anyone." Jason's entire career at Camp Jupiter had been built on careful choices. He meditated between demigods, listened to all sides of an argument, found compromises even when he chaffed against Roman traditions. He thought before he acted. He wasn't impulsive. Notice had warned him that such agitation would kill him. Jason had to stop deliberating and take what he wanted. If he was an ungrateful beggar, he had to act like one. He ripped a chunk of meat with his fingers and shoved it into his mouth. And then he basically took all the meat. And then he took some of the red liquid and drank it. Thankfully, it tasted like watered down wine and not blood or poison. He felt the urge to gag, but he didn't kneel over and explode. And that's pretty much all that matters in the world. Yum! Now tell me about this. What did you call it? Retribution? Where do I sign up? One of the ghosts nearby bumped into Jason. Unlike the ghosts in New Rome, the lairs, these ghosts you could actually feel, which means more enemies who could stab or possibly decapitate him. Tell me, Iros, what do you have to offer? We don't need you to run messages for us like in the old days. Certainly you aren't a fighter, as I recalled. Odysseus crushed your jaw and tossed you into the pigsty. Jason's ear on fire. Iros, the old man who'd run messages for the suitors in exchange for scraps of food. Iros was sort of like their pet homeless person. When Odysseus came home, disguised as a beggar, Iros thought the new guy was moving in on his territory. The two started arguing. You made Iros. You made me fight Odysseus. You bet money on it. And even when Odysseus took off his shirt and you saw how muscular he was, you still made me fight him. You didn't care if I lived or died. Of course I didn't care, but I still don't. But you're here. So, Gaia must have had a reason to allow you back in the mortal world. Tell me, why are you worthy of a share in our spoils? What spoils? The entire world, my friend. The first time we met here, we were only after Odysseus' land, his money, and his wife. Especially his wife. Jason caught a glimpse of Piper serving drinks at the next table. She discreetly put her finger to her mouth in a gag me gesture, then went back to flirting with dead guys. Eurymachus, you whining coward, you never stood a chance with Pentalope. I remember you bluttering and plettering with your life with Odysseus, blaming everything on me. A lot of good it did to me. Arthur shot me in the heart just because I want to marry his wife. At any rate, we have gathered now for a much bigger prize. Once Gaia destroys the gods, we will divide up the remnants of the mortal world. Mwahahaha. I call dibs on London. I call Montreal. I call Duluth. All of them are suitors for Gaia's favor. All of them have claims and grievances against the gods or their pet heroes. That scoundrel over there is Hippias, former tyrant of Athens. He got disposed and sided with some Persians to attack his own countrymen. No morals whatsoever. He'd do anything for power. Thank you. That rogue with the turkey leg in his mouth. That's Hasdrubal of Cossonus. He has a grudge to settle with Rome. And Michael Vadis. Who? Over by the sand fountain, the dark-haired guy in the purple shirt and the Legionnaire armor turned to face him. His outline was blurred, smoky, and indistinct, so Jason guessed he was some form of spirit. But the Legion tattoo on his forearm was clear enough. Spore, the double-faced head of the god Janus, which meant he was a son of Janus, and 6 score marks for years of service. On his breastplate hung the badge of praetorship and the emblem of the Fifth Court. Jason had never met Michael Varus. The infamous praetor had died in the 1980s. Still, Jason's skin crawled when he met Varus' grace. Those sunken eyes seemed to bore right through Jason's disguise. Antonius waves dismissively. He's a Roman demigod. Lost his eagle in, Alaska? Doesn't matter. Gaia lets him hang around. He insists he has some insight into defeating Camp Jupiter. But you, Iros, you still haven't answered my question. Why should you be welcome among us? Suddenly, Anubis came over and spilled some red wine on Antonius' shoulder. Gah! Foolish girl, who led you back from Tartus? A Titan, my lord? May I bring you some moist towelettes? Your arrow is dripping. Be gone! Anubis caught Jason's eye in a silent message of support. Then she disappeared into the crowd. Gao wiped himself off, giving Jason a chance to recollect his thoughts. He was Iros, former messenger of the suitors. Why would he be here? Why would she accept him? He picked up the nearest steak knife and stabbed it into the table, making the ghosts around him jump. Why should you welcome me? Because I'm still running messages, you stupid wretches. I just come back from the house of Hades to see what you're up to. Last part was actually true, and it seemed to give Antonius pause. The gal glared at him, whilst wine still dripping from the arrow shaft in his throat. You expect me to believe Gaia sent you, a beggar, to check up on us? Ha 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 ha! I was among the last to leave Appius before the doors of death were closed. I saw the chamber where Cleanthes stood guard under a domed ceiling tiled with tombstones. I walked the jeweled and bone floors of the Necromantian. That was also actually true. Around the table, ghosts shifted and muttered. So, Antonius, maybe you should explain why you're worthy of Gaia's favor. All I see is a crowd of lazy, doubting, dead folk enjoying themselves and not helping the war effort. What should I tell the Earth Mother? From the corner of his eye, Jason saw Piper flash him an approving smile. Then she returned her attention to a glowing purple Greek dude who was trying to make her sit on his lap. Antonius wrapped his hand around a steak knife Jason had impaled on the table. If you come from Gaia, you must know we are here under orders. Porpayantheon decreed it. Antonius ran the knife blade across his palm. Instead of blood, dry dirt spilled from the cut. You do know Porpayantheon. Jason struggled to keep the nausea under control. He remembered Porpayantheon just fine from the battle at the Wolf House. The Giant King, green skin, 40 feet tall, white eyes, hair braided with weapons. Of course I know him. He's a lot more impressive than you. He decided not to mention the last time he'd seen the Giant King. Jason had blasted him in the head with lightning. For once, Antonius looked speechless. but the bald ghost friend Ichromachus put an arm around Jason's shoulders. Now, friend. I assure you, we're doing exactly how Pyantheon ordered. Jason tries to mask his surprise. Pull Pyantheon in Athens? Gaia promised to pull the gods up by the roots, Chiron. Jason's member at Camp Half-Blood had assumed it meant the giants would try to raise the Earth goddess at the original Mount Olympus, but now the Acropolis, the most ancient temples to the gods, in the middle of Athens. That's where Gaia will wake. Of course. And to get there, those meddlesome demigods would have to travel by sea. They know it's too dangerous to fly over land, which means they'll have to pass this island. At that point, they'll have to make a choice, On the tabletop, he traced the coastline, red wine glowing unnaturally against the wood. He drew the grease like a misshapen hourglass, a large dangling mainland. Then a blob below it, almost as large. The big chunk of land known as Papalopolis, cutting between was a narrow line of sea, the Straits of Corinth. The most direct route would be due east from here, or across the Straits of Corinth. But if they try to go that way, enough. You have a loose tongue, Ichromachus. I wasn't going to tell him everything, just about the Cyclops army, Messon on either shore, and the raging storm spirits in the air, and those vicious sea monsters whose Kento said to infest the waters, and of course if the ship got as far as stealthy Python would do weird things, and yeah. No! Please, I only meant, the ghost screamed as dirt covered his body like a shell, then disintegrated him. Apologies, Iros. All you need to know, the ways to Athens are well guarded, just as we promised. The demigods would either have to risk the straits, which are impossible, or sail around the entire Peloponnese, which is hardly much safer. In any event, it's unlikely they will survive long enough to make that choice. Once they reach Itharica, we will know. We will stop them there, and Gaia will see how valuable we are. You can take that message back to Athens. Jason's heart hammered against his sternum. He'd never seen anything like the shell of earth that Antonius had summoned to destroy Ichromachus. He didn't want to figure out if that power worked on demigods. Jason had the intel they'd come for. Their goal was Athens, a safer route. At least the not completely impossible and will not kill them all in a tenth of a second route. They only had 12 days before Gaia planned to wake. On August 1st, the ancient Feast of Hope. Ichromachus had mentioned Delphi. Jason had secretly hoped to visit the ancient site of Apollo's oracle, maybe get some insight onto his personal future, but if the palace had been overrun by monsters, sounds like everything is under control. Goodbye. Stay, Michael Varus. Okay, so yeah, Jason was stabbing zombies and kicking them up into the sky. And Piper was throwing apples out of her magical cornucopia while Annabeth stabbed them. And they got launched back like 5 billion feet. And fighting was just perfect. You know? Yeah, all of that happened until Jason got stabbed, which was very sad. Piper immediately threw a dagger and killed Antonius, who stabbed him, but he stabbed him with a celestial bronze sword. So, both Annabeth and Piper came by. Piper did a lot of regular medical stuff and tried to help out, while Annabeth, using Morse code, contacted Leo and sent help messages. Yeah. So, after Annabeth called for Leo's help, Leo sent Frank. While Frank was coming in a giant eagle form, the room shook with terror. And then Frank, the giant eagle, took them to their rescue!
Now we will have an advertisement from Dog Incorporated.
Jelly Penguin!
Now we will see a glimpse of Nico and Rainer and Coach Henge in the Athena Piranthus adventure.
Help, Nico, we're rotating, we're falling into a volcano! We're about to die, and then where's Coach Henge and the Athena Piranthus and the bold steak? Come on, Nico, Shadow Travelers, although we don't have powers, I'm gonna lend you magical powers, because I have that trait and I'm Roman Legionnaire and stuff.
Because I am cruel, you will never know the rest of the amazing adventures of Rainer and Nico and Coach Henge. Instead, you will be forced to read the book by this desire to know.
Leo was in the hole for over 3 days. He hasn't eaten anything, and every 5 seconds or so, he throws an enormous tantrum. And Piper was walking by. And yeah, Piper easily spotted Leo because half of himself was outside, and it wasn't really hard to find those stinky socks and those stinky shorts. Anyways, so Piper came on by. And she said to come over because they were close to Olympia. Leo said he still hasn't done anything because he throws tantrums. Piper said, "Well, I thought you were supposed to be working and not throw tantrums every 5 seconds. And we heard you banging on stuff, so we thought you were working." Leo was like, "No, I wasn't working. I was actually throwing a tantrum." So Piper was like, "So get out of there right now and walk over here and come into conversation. It's sort of breakfast time, and we're close to Olympia. We have to subdue Victory and stuff. So yeah, get up, get out of there." Leo was like, okay, fine. Okay, we've dropped the anchor in Olympia. I don't get who's going down there yet. I mean, I'm definitely going because I'm cool like that. Piper said, well, I'm not sure. Why do we need to subdue Victory in the first place? And how do you even subdue Victory? Well, do you remember her children back at Camp Half-Blood? They were super competitive and stuff like that. If she's sending out those vibes, we need a super non-competitive team. Like, well, how about me and Percy? Leo said. Percy is Poseidon, and I'm Hephaestus, and I don't really see a major antagonism there. End of this life. Well, how about we keep her balanced? Like, two Romans and 2 Greeks. Yeah, that makes sense. How about we send Hazel and Frank? Yeah, Hazel and Frank. There's no major antagonisms there besides Frank, who probably won't have any problems. Yeah, and Hazel can do cool stuff with the ground and her magics. Yeah, is that the super non-competitive dream team or what? Okay, let's get down there. So first they got Nike in a bag, and then Nike in a bag told them about the curse in Delos, the poison in Phylos, the chained god's heartbeat in Sparta, and then they found those 3 island places. So first they went to the Poison and Phylos and met Frank's ancient dynasty of shape-shifting Martian people, and they basically got a super toxic poison that could kill off pretty much an entire species within a millisecond. Then they went to Sparta and they found Ares is a statue of Ares. They pretty much chained Ares in Sparta so they would always have victory. Yeah. His heartbeat was the mania, which was anger, fear, yeah, all those spirits. And they got that and they took all those spirits and put them on a magical spell so they could be called at any time they wished. And then they went to Delos. Yes, they went to Delos, where they met Apollo and Artemis, and Leo traded a new instrument that Leo created on the spot, called the Valdezinator. The creativity, just look at the creativity. And in exchange for a daisy that was called the Curse of Delos. And yeah, that's it.
Now a short advertisement from Sprint.
Narwhals swimming in the ocean, causing a commotion, cause they are so awesome. Narwhals swimming in the ocean, pretty big and pretty wide.
Check out Sprint's Unlimited plan. Unlimited data, talk, and text for just $50 a month. Switch now and we'll even buy out your current contract. Visit us online or at a Sprint store today.
When we stop.
Narwhals swimming in the ocean, causing a commotion, cause they are so awesome. Narwhals swimming in the ocean, pretty big and pretty wide.
Check out Sprint's Unlimited plan. Unlimited data, talk, and text for just $50 a month. Switch now and we'll even buy out your current contract. Visit us online or at a Sprint store today.
When we stop.
Okay, Leo said, we're finally here. This is where all the big and powerful people of the olden days got their magical treatments. It looks like a giant sphere, said Percy. Already ahead of you. It's definitely not just a sphere. Yeah, said Annabeth. Can't you see the workmanship? It's probably one of those locks, like in the Archimedes place. Way ahead of you, Aquaman. I already know. I already have my giant grabber arm ready, and we're ready to spin this thing up. Get down in there, get the ginormous cure that's gonna cure death, and get out. Okay. Okay, Leo. You do that. Well, giant grabber arm, let's do your thing. Bam! Bam! We rotate them alternate directions at different speeds to open up the lock. And guess what? They just got teleported in. So, after they got into the temple of Asclepius and the god of good health and doctoring and stuff, we see a statue of Hygienia blocking the gateway. That's Asclepius' daughter. And that's where we get the word hygiene. What's up with the giant cup filled with poison? Not sure. But back in the day, this place, Asclepion, was a medical school as well as a hospital. All the best doctor priests trained here. They would worship both Asclepius and Hygienia. Okay, good tour. Let's leave. The silence, the gleaming white tiles, the creepy smile on Hygienia's face, it all made him want to crawl out of his skin. But Jason and Piper headed down the center aisle towards the statue. So Leo figured he'd better follow. Strewn across the benches were old magazines. Highlights for Children, Autumn 20 BCE. Hephaestus TV, Weekly, Aphrodite's Latest Baby Bump. The magazine of Asclepius. 10 simple tips to get the most out of your leeching. It's a reception area. I hate reception areas. Here and there, piles of dust and scattered bones lay on the floor, which did not say encouraging things about the average wait time. Check it out. Were these signs when we walked in that door? The doctor is incarcerated. The sign below read, now serving number 000000000 -0. I can't read it that far away. The doctor is incarcerated. Apollo warned me that Asclepius was held under guard. Zeus didn't want him sharing his medical secrets or bringing every single person on Earth back to life. And I bet $20 and a box of Fruit Loops that statue is the guardian. I'm not taking that bet. Well, I guess we take a number. The giant statue had other ideas. When they got within 5 feet, she turned her head and looked at them. Do you have an appointment? Hello, Hygienia. Apollo sent us. We need to see Asclepius. I see. May I make a copy of your insurance cards? Well, we don't have them on us, but no insurance cards? I suppose you haven't prepared for your visit either. Have you washed your hands thoroughly? Yes. Are you wearing clean underwear? Hey, lady, that's getting personal. You should always wear clean underwear to the doctor's office. I'm afraid you are a health hazard. You will have to be sanitized. Then she dropped lava on them. Getting sanitized by large snakes and lava and large snakes is not covered by our medical plan. Oh, that doesn't matter. Sanitizing at the community surface is complimentary. They dodged the lava. Unacceptable. The doctor will not see you until you are properly sanitized. At this point, Leo figured out that Hygienia was actually a robot. And, yeah. Decapitation is not a healthy lifestyle choice. Jason, get me over here. Piper, buy us some time. Piper replies to her like, easier said than done. Hygenia, I have insurance. That got the statue's attention. Even the golden snake turns towards her, as if insurance was some sort of tasty rodent. Insurance? Who is your provider? Blue Lightning. I have the character right here. Just a second. She made a big show of fanning down her pockets. The snake slithered over to watch. What's the plan? We can't destroy these things. They're designed for self-healing. They're immune to pretty much every single type of damage. Great, so, remember Chiron's old gaming system? Leo, the Assistant Mario, same principle though. Idiot mode? Yeah. I'll need you and Piper to run interference. I'll reprogram the snakes and Big Bertha. Hygenia? Whatever. Ready? No. As Blue Lightning and HML, what is your deductible? Who is your primary card deity? As Piper ad-libbed answers, Leo jumped onto Serpent's back. This time he knew what he was looking for, and at the moment the Serpent didn't even notice him. Leo had a surface panel near his snake's head, and he held on with his legs, trying to ignore the pain and sticky blood. Then he did the same thing to the statue, and the statue jerked back. Did really weird stuff. And then it started pouring poison on its own head. Bam, 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 bam. Then the statue eventually turned to absolutely nothingness. And guess what it said on the sign now? Come on, guess. Okay, you've probably guessed already. The doctor is in the house. Now serving all the ladies love Leo. Okay. And at the end of the hallway it says Asclepius. MD, DMD, DME, DC, DVS, FAAN, OMG, EMT, TTYL, FRCP, ME, IOU, OD, OT, PHRMD, BAMF, RN, PhD, INC, SMH, and a lot of other weird degrees that no one knows about. Yes, he's been around since 50 billion BCE, so yeah.
That is where we will stop, because the rest is an extreme spoiler.
Yeah, mate. Hello, all people of the wide and weird world. I complete my portion of the movie. Now I will do my honorary clap. And yeah, I close that off. Now you will see the trailer of the actual movie that will be cast by famous producers with human beings inside of it. And that's going to be released in 2016 for the Blood of Olympus. Yeah, this is the trailer.
The Oracle's words stand as a warning, a prophecy.